Creighton breaks through the line, cuts to the left. He's going. I think he's going. Oh!
Hi, welcome to Rant and Rave on IcyColorLive.tv. Hey, we're back after the bye week. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, doing good.
All right. So listen, going into the bye, we had a lot of things we needed to address. It looks like we addressed the secondary a little bit. The young men that have come in are playing very, very well, and they looks like with the push that the defensive front four is getting, that it's really the secondary is coming through. So. I think we got a chance in the second half of the season. What you think?
I really do. And it was so, at first you were just thinking like, oh my goodness, because the secondary has been an issue for quite some time now. So we were like, when Jimmy Smith went out, I was like, oh geez, it's going to be really hard and everybody can just eat us up through the air. But as you just stated, it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, Anthony Levine has really stepped up, and now in the entertainment segment, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about him, but he was a guy who played safety, who now is back at cornerback, and they've thrown this guy to the Lions, and he's responded. It's the reason why they were able to cut Asia Jackson, and just let him go because, Anthony Levine has really stepped up and is playing quite well.
And that goes good with the, that means that their coaching is being real effective and they're paying attention, and you can tell when somebody wants to learn and wants to do better, because that's when you see the results that we're seeing right now. So that's all good. I don't have anything bad to say about that.
All right, so we're going down to New Orleans. We got Drew Brees and the Saints, two totally different teams. When they play in New Orleans, they are world beaters. When they play on the road, they are average so-so team. But coming off the bye and having a couple weeks to prepare for them going in, what do you think?
I think we have a great chance. Drew Brees has a heck of an arm.
But he doesn't have any 400-yard games this year.
I'll brag that my Flacco has a heck of a,
Right.
So I won't take anything away from Drew Brees. But this year, they're not the team that I'm used to seeing as well.
I would agree.
So one thing I heard last night, on NFL Network was good to hear, because our secondary has always been my pet peeve right now. Well, the Saints secondary, in comparison, is just as bad as ours right now.
Absolutely.
So when you take the two, of course I'll take my guys and my quarterback, to eat their secondary up. We got the Smith and Smith, brothers, and then, we've got Daniels and we've got the ammunition to beat them. So this is going to be a really good battle of quarterbacks. Two really good quarterbacks. And it's going to be a time for every, the defense to do what they normally do. Our running game, I think, is our best bet, of course.
Okay.
Our best bet, of course, is that running game. We can eat them up there. But we've got everything that we need. My only concern now is that it's not a home game.
Right.
When we're on the road, we seem to have issues. I'm not worried about the crowd or anything. It's just that we just seem to have issues, on the road. So I hope we can come out on top this week.
Well, the last time we played New Orleans, it was a pretty good day. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was.
If we like playing anywhere, we ought to like playing in New Orleans.
And just as long as the lights stay on, I think we'll have a really good shot. I really do.
No doubt about it. So, Justin Forsett, you mentioned him earlier. I mean, I think he's having one incredible season. Do you think he should become an All-Pro? Do you think he should get voted?
Oh, yes. That should be, I don't mean any harm, that should be the first Raven to be voted in. The first Raven, because that consistency from,
from week one.
Week one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This guy's really stepped up and is playing well.
Every defense now for this year and this season.
Right. Where's Forsett?
Where's he at? Where's he at? So, yeah, he should be the first Raven voted in.
I agree totally Totally, absolutely agree. Okay, so now after this week, we got San Diego coming in next. After that, we got in between Thanksgiving. So we want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We will not be doing a show.
Anybody gonna have any leftover sweet potato pie? Hit me up. That's my weakness. Big girl. Sweet potato pie.
Speaking of such, is something you wanted to bring on? Is that something you wanted? I'm talking to Cassandra.
No, not that bad.
No. She just made mention in the other bag. It's already open, and so you ain't got to open the bag. I'm just saying, she spoke of such a thing.
Wow.
All right, here we go. We got my brother Ray. He does a sweet potato cheesecake pie. So hey, she mentioned she needed extra. She don't need one. She got one of her own right here. That's for you, Theresa.
Oh, what? Whoa.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Big girl happy now.
Yeah, big girl real happy.
You know what I mean? So anyway, we're gonna have a good week. We're always gonna we wish the Ravens luck as always. And we're going to have a good show. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, welcome back to Rant and Rave on icycolorlive.tv. I'm joined by Jackie Bean Roberts here. We're going to talk about our entertainment segment, but more so about the Ravens and the struggles that they've had in the secondary this year and how they've some guys had to go and they've brought some new guys in. So Jackie, what you want to tell us?
Well, the main issue now is, can the revamped secondary keep it going? They did a good job with their last game.
Right. Absolutely.
Anthony Levine, who was a safety, who is now a cornerback. Right. He did real good, and they have a lot of positive things to say about him.
He's come along this season, right?
Yes.
Ever since training camp, that I've been reading different things about him. You want to tell us what's been going on?
Well,
I'm just saying, back in training camp, he wasn't even, they weren't sure if he was even going to make the team. They didn't have all the confidence in the world in him, but they decided to give him a chance, and then like the last preseason game, they put him in, and he actually stepped up to the challenge because, you had Asia Jackson, who was kind of iffy, and when they gave this young man a chance, he stepped up and played.
He did. He said he feels as though he can compete. The way he's competed, he's made everybody see that he's worth putting in and becoming a starter. Mm-hmm. So he's been doing pretty good. Gorer and can't think of the other gentleman's name.
Really?
Okay. Tremaine Jacobs.
Right.
They have been, as a unit, they've been making things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're happy that they have them, and hopefully they'll progress with the next game coming up.
And so, along with that, as long as our front four can get that push and can put pressure on the quarterback, then the secondary can actually do their job a whole lot better. So, we're always dependent on them working together as an entire defensive unit. And, the defense has always been, the front four have always been able to get that push. But before, we were getting burnt like toast back there. We weren't picking up on the back end. But the young guys now that they've come in, again, in Ozzie, we trust. He has that secondary playing a whole lot better. But this week, they're going up against an elite quarterback.
Breeze?
Yes.
Right. Breeze is this week, and the next game will be the...
Who we play second? Who after New Orleans?
Excuse me.
Oh, she went to the glasses. Right.
Breeze will be the first game, and the second game will be Rivers.
Oh, okay, San Diego. So Phillip Rivers from San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah, two very, very good quarterbacks. And, the secondary will definitely be tested because they're definitely going to throw the ball. And with New Orleans, they don't often lose down in New Orleans. Now, on the road, they're a different team. They don't win as much. But down in New Orleans, with that crowd going crazy and inside the dome, it's going to be a tough game. But I think the secondary is coming along.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for your segment. And guess what? It's Thanksgiving next week, so, we'll be off next week, but we'll see you in a couple weeks when we play San Diego. All right? Thank you. We'll be back after these messages.
PFX Graphics.
Hello, welcome back to Rant and Rave on IcyColorLive.tv. I'm here joined by Cassandra Bleeds Purple Bagley, and we're going into our fantasy football segment. So Cassandra, it is week 10, and I mean, things have gotten thick in the league, so what's going on?
Week 10?
Week 11. Week 11.
Week
We were
11.
off. I had a bye last week too. Okay, week 11. There we go.
Yes. Well, it's coming down to the wire. The winners are winning. The losers are still losing. We're going to start off with the Pamper Me against me, Caisson Crushers. And I lost that game this week. It was kind of a game that was almost a throwaway. Pamper Me didn't perform the way that she had been the earlier part of the season. The score for the game was 61-49.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things happen. I'll take it because it wasn't a crushing defeat, but a defeat it was. And Caisson Crushers have lost to Pamper Me twice this season, and that's okay. And they go to a record of 7-4, and Caisson Crushers have dropped to 3-8. Not a good season, but there's always next year. As we were speaking earlier about Drew Brees, he had 255 passing yards with 1 touchdown, but he hasn't had a 300-yard game since they played Green Bay several weeks ago. Okay. So we're not sure what's going on with that. It could end up being really good for the Ravens, if he continues playing the way that he's been playing. But it's still, he made 16 points, big drop from the 25 points that he had last week. So that had a difference in the scoring for that game. And we did have some playmakers who made the difference. We had Trey Mason, who is a running back for St. Louis. He's on my team, and he got 12 points at 29 carries for 113 yards. There's some points there, so that was good. And of course, for Pamper Me, it was Drew Brees. And Drew is Drew. We can't knock him, but maybe they can knock him out.
Yeah, they can knock him out. That's
on
right.
Sunday.
Right. That sure
And that would be way cool.
Right.
So we also, we're going to move on to who seems to be the unstoppable Lady Ravens 52, who beat El Crush for her 3rd win in a row, and she's remaining at the top. And let's see what went on with them this week. It was 103-90, and the overall record for Lady Ravens has gone to 8-3, and El Crush falls to 3-8 to join me in the basement. Not mad at that. Their difference makers, Mike Evans, a wide receiver, he plays for Tampa Bay, and he's on Lady Ravens' team. He had 209 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is always going to boost the score. And Le'Veon Bell is a running back for Pittsburgh. He had 33 carries and a season high 204 yards and a touchdown. So it was his best game of the season.
Right.
And that still doesn't bode well for El Crush to get any better. And
what do you think the secret is for Lady Raven 52, her team? What do you think?
Beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck?
No, Theresa has done a phenomenal job.
Okay.
Lady Raven 52 is our very own Theresa, Lady Raven Scott, who loves football.
Right.
She knows football. She made great picks. She's made some really good trades during the season. And at different times, she's just been lucky where her opponent may have had a great game before, but they come up against her and they fall.
Okay.
I'm not mad at her, quite proud of her because I talked her into doing this.
Right, there you go.
If I can't win, at least my girl is.
Right.
That works for me. And we had Show Me Your TDs, and he blew up the 2013. The score was 98-67.
Right.
But 98 still isn't a lot of points in fantasy,
Right.
but it was enough to win. 1 point is enough to win, folks.
Absolutely.
So we all
No,
got to
that's
remember
right.
that.
Stay away from the elbow.
Yeah, man. I seem to be very well acquainted this season,
Right.
but that's okay. She has beat B20 13 both times this season. So she's 2-0 against B23. And let's see, both teams are now they're sitting 6-5 on the year. Jordy Nelson had 109 yards and 1 touchdown, and he did the most damage, grabbing 17 points for Show Me Your TDs. I say touchdowns. And let's see, Mark Ingram, he got several chances for Show Me Your TDs, but only produced 3.2 yards per touch, and that's just not really great.
Right. Not getting it done.
Yeah. And after scoring 32 points last week, Nelson just didn't produce the same way he did this week. And next week, Show Me Your TDs will meet El Crush in the last place team in the league, and B13 2013 will be playing against Titan Wright.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll see. Middle of the road, a little bit of win, a little bit of love, but we there.
We there, I hear you. I'm not mad at you. So their difference makers, Matt Forte, not a big surprise there, running back for Chicago. He had 26 carries, 417 yards, and it's the 3rd time this season that he's rushed for at least 100 yards. And one would have thought that there would have been more 100-yard games for him. Sure. Jamal Charles, another non-surprise, 25. He's a running back for Kansas City, and he had 20 carries with 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can't be mad at that performance.
Right, absolutely.
It's a good game for him.
That's the complete opposite. That's getting her done.
Get her done. That's right. He's had a rushing touchdown in each of his last 5 games. Okay. So that's not bad at all. And lastly, we had the Rhinos, who won against Titan Wright, and it evens their series. They went 1-1 against each other this season. And Rhinos had a rally on Sunday night for Sunday Night Football, which is always good. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was your rally on Sunday night. That wasn't quite enough.
No, that's okay. It's okay. We gonna make the playoffs. How about that? We're gonna do our damage in the playoffs.
I hear you. Everybody goes to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, exactly.
But next season, when we have more of our fans join our fantasy league, it will be a whole different story.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because you can't be 3-8 and make the playoffs in the 12-man league.
Right, that's all right. As long as you play Lady 52 in the first round, fine with me. It's almost like having a bye. No,
that's not funny. And let's see, Titan Wright had 2 starters who scored 0 points, Julius Thomas and Ahmad Bradshaw, and they're 6-5, which is still better than 3-8.
Oh yeah, it's a winning record.
And they dropped them to 4th place, and the Rhinos are now 5-6, and they remain in 6th place. And unfortunately for Titan Wright, the Philadelphia Eagles defense didn't do much for them. They were the lone defense in the league to score 0 points last week. So, and for the first time this year, who is this? Jeffrey. Jeffrey was the leading scorer on the Rhinos, and he had 17 targets this week for Chicago. He's wide out, and it means that his targets have now increased in 3 consecutive games, which means somebody's getting better, but not quite there. Right. And let's see, their difference makers were Alshon Jeffrey, who was a wide receiver for Chicago, and it's the first week that he had 100 yards receiving. Okay. So that makes a big difference. And then let's see, Eddie Lacy is a running back for Green Bay, and he had 22 points. And I don't think I've had a wide receiver this season get 22 points.
That's a lot of points for a wide receiver.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
So those are our difference makers, and that's our fantasy report.
Right. So this is week 11. Our playoffs start week 13.
Yes.
So that means we got one more regular season game, and then the playoffs start. Week 13, 14, and 15 are our playoffs.
Right.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
No. We should no
14, 15, 16 because we're going through the entire season.
Right. So there's 17 games. So we should probably start with that 15, 16, 17.
Thank you.
15.
Correct
okay.
me.
So we still got 3 games. We got 3 games before the playoffs start.
And anything can happen in those 3 games.
Yeah, because ain't nobody out other than Theresa. Everybody else is jumbled up in the middle.
All up in there in the middle. Yeah. I mean, you can go from 3-8 to
5-8 or 6-8, and then make the playoffs.
6-8 and be respectable.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so thank you so much for that report.
Thank you.
I know I'm having a ball this year in the fantasy football. Looking forward to it.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, actually. It's been some trash talking behind the scenes because fortunately for the ladies at Rant and Rave, we don't just do the show together. We're real friends.
Right.
So we get to talk and talk trash.
Exactly, and have a lot of fun. Anyway, Cassandra, thank you so much for that report. We'll be right back on Rant and Rave here on IcyColorLive.tv. Hi, welcome back to Rant and Rave on IcyColorLive.tv. You know, that fantasy football segment was just off the chain. You know, congratulations to Lady Raven 52. But let me ask you. In that segment, I asked Cassandra, you know, is there some sort of formula? What are you doing? You know, this is your first time in fantasy football. What is it? What's making your team excel so much?
With me, and I see some of our opponents, El Crush, you know, they don't adjust their teams, especially when they're, and you say it every week, when your players have a bye, they leave them in. Okay. So that's points that they don't get. Right. I had no hesitation, really. I think I've been doing so well because of Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is awesome, and whether, you know,
he's so awesome.
Whether they win or lose, I get points from him.
Right.
You know, so, and actually, this past week when we had a bye, I was able to take Tori and Jimmy and move them down. And Devin, show me your TDs, actually told me, he said, "Ma, why don't you pick up," because I had two kickers, so I got rid of a kicker and I picked up Mike Evans.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans.
Showed up.
Did he?
Off.
All I'm thinking about was Mike Evans.
Right.
What, ain't that JJ brother? I didn't know. I had no idea. Looking from Tampa Bay.
Right.
I told him, I said, "Oh, we're going to leave him right there."
Oh, yeah.
AFC, one of the players of the week, you know. So, offensive player of the week. So, it's good. I had to remember I can't go with all Ravens players. Right. So, I picked, of course, I have our defense. Mm-hmm. So, Ravens defense has really held out good for me, and Aaron Rodgers. And that's just it. So, I just remember to move my players from, you know, when they have a bye. So, my bench is pretty good. I've got Phillip Rivers on my bench, so my bench looks good sometimes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, like you say, my first year, and I'm so excited. It has been so much fun. Right. You know, and I like the interaction between me and my son.
Okay.
You know, so there's some things, you know, where we can talk about in common, although we talk about football, but we're playing this together. So I like that.
And you stomped El Crush.
I tried to tell you.
Oh, yeah, you know, he caught the El Boogie bag.
He caught quite a few.
Yeah, he done caught quite a few El Boogies. That's that. Well, I think he's going to see you first round of the playoffs because whoever in that last place, that's who they going to see. So you might want to win a game or two, brother.
It was funny because Cassandra can tell you the day we did the draft, I was predicted to be 8th. I was predicted to be dead last. Right. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not changing my people, you know, and I'm glad I didn't.
That's right. You like who you like.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get back to real football. In a couple weeks we'll be playing, you know, we got some elite quarterbacks coming. You know, we got Drew Brees from New Orleans, and then we got Phillip Rivers coming, where he'll come to us with San Diego. You know, again, I think our secondary is really going to be put to the test. Yes. I think the defense as a whole is going to be put to the test. Can we come through it?
Phillip Rivers, big. I like this dude. I really like this dude as a quarterback. I like him. He's one of the bigger ones for me, and I like him much better than.
Early in the season, he was like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I like him much better than Ben Roethlisberger. Mm-hmm. I really do. Okay. He's got such an attitude when he plays football. I love it. You know, he's a little gangster, so I like that. Right. And Antonio Gates, I've got him on my team too. 85, those two right there, 17 and 85. That's enough for me to get worried right there.
Right.
You know, but with us knowing that, hopefully we'll focus we'll focus on. I'm not worried. Dermoville and them can probably have a good day.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they'll sack him all day, but I think they can touch him up a little bit. They can hurry him. They can, get some knockdowns and things like that. I think, like you said, out front four, we're good. It's that secondary because he can throw that ball down there and it will have some heat when it gets there.
Right.
So it's a good test for our young dudes. They can, get out there and do what they do. And I mean, this will be a good learning one, I think, more so than this week with, the Saints. So I think that we can definitely take that.
Okay. Well, we've covered, the next couple of weeks, and the reason we're doing that is because, Thanksgiving week we will not be on. We will not have a show that week. So we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. Anything you want to say before we go?
Go Ravens.
All right, cool. Thank you for watching Rant and Rave on ICColorLive.tv. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Breaks through the line. Cuts to the left. He's going. I think he's going.